Hey guys, Mike Hedlesky here at the Worcester County Rec and Parks Department here in Snow Hill. We're going to go over some ab exercises today, continuing our little equipment, fitness routine, exercise demonstration that we've been doing recently. So first exercise I'm going to show you, it's called a plank. It's probably the old standby. Everyone's probably tried a plank before. I'm just going to talk about a couple little things you want to try to do while doing the plank. First off, if you wanted to make it a little bit easier, like a typical plank, you're on your toes, you're on your elbows, staying nice and straight. If that's a little too hard for you to start out, you can try a little bit easier variation where you just kind of stay on the top of a push-up just like this, just trying to make sure my shoulders, hips, and knees are all lined up, and I'm kind of actively tucking my hips down to keep everything in a straight line the whole time. So if this feels pretty good, you can do it for about 30 seconds or so. You can try coming all the way down to the floor. You just hang it out down here. All the rules still apply. Just trying to keep your head, shoulders, hips, and knees all lined up. And then if that starts getting too easy for you too, you can start elevating your feet. So that's a really good rule of thumb is if you can do it for about 30 seconds, it might be time to make it a little bit more complicated or a little bit harder. The second ab exercise I want to go over is called a stir the pot. Now when we did our planks before, we're working on a little bit of everything. Kind of every part of your core is activated while you're doing a plank. With this one, it's a little bit more oblique, some of the hip stabilizing stuff, and a little bit more lower back. This is actually a great core exercise if you have any lower back problems, just because it takes a little bit of the stress off, and then really focus on some like the lower ab stuff that really stabilizes your hips. So with this one, you're going to get into a plank position again. You're just using the ball instead of having your elbows all the way on the floor. So the reason it's called a stir the pot is just do little teeny tiny circles. So still working on keeping your hips as lined up as you can, keeping them tucked up underneath just a little bit, trying to keep your shoulders and your hips and your knees all in alignment. And then once you do about 10 to 15 one direction, just switch them and start rolling back the other way. So our third ab exercise today, we're going to use our wonderful functional trainer machine. Basically, you're only limited by your creativity with the exercises you can do out of this. There's a bunch of different attachments. We can move the cables up and down. We have handles and little ropes for doing like tricep extension stuff, a straight bar that you can do lat pull downs and chest presses with. You can pretty much do anything you can possibly think of out of here. What I'm going to show you for our core exercises is an exercise called a pal-off press. Now this is hands down my favorite core exercise ever. So this is more of an anti-movement exercise. We're not really moving around too much. It's a little bit different than the stir the pot. So I'm just getting a weight that I can comfortably hold just right out in front of me, just like that. So I'm going to press out, try to keep this right in the middle of my body, and then doing my best to not let the weight pull me off to the side. And then I'm trying to find weight that I don't have to compensate by leaning over. You're trying to keep this kind of midline position right here the whole entire time. So what this does, it's an anti-rotation exercise. Our core muscles are kind of designed to fight unnecessary movement more than they're designed to kind of flex and do crunches and stuff like that. So this is just a great exercise, similar to the stir the pot with anybody that's got any lower back pain. It's very, very low impact. And then as you progress through it, it gets a little bit easier for you. All you have to do is just move the weight up or try to hold it for a longer period of time.